Germany at the gates of victory. The war against France was won, and from the ruins of petty states, a new empire emerged. In the Hall of Mirrors at Versailles, what an irony of history, the Prussian king was proclaimed German emperor. The German princes bowed to Wilhelm I. But who was missing from this historic ceremony? The people. Workers and peasants were not invited to the imperial coronation. They would have to pay the price for this splendor. Bismarck, the Iron Chancellor, accomplished his masterpiece. An empire under Prussian leadership, shaped by Protestantism, organized militarily. 4 billion gold marks, an unimaginable sum, flowed as French war reparations into the German coffers. The empire lived up to its name. It became rich overnight. A true stock market frenzy broke out.
500 Anteile, sofort! Höher! Es muss höher gehen!
The greed for profit knows no bounds. Speculators dream of quick riches. In the shop windows, goods from all over the world sparkle. The textile industry from Alsace, now German, produced for the entire empire. Krupp steelworks smoked day and night. The chaos of the 33 German currencies became history. The annoying customs barriers had fallen. Germany moved up into the top group of industrial nations. But the price of progress was high. Prices rose, housing became unaffordable, and working families lived cramped in dark, damp rooms. The gap between the rich and the poor grew wider. Social tensions increased, and social democrats under August Bebel gained significance. Germany transformed into a massive barracks, critics mocked, and they weren't wrong at all. The Prussian spirit permeated everything: school, work, even private life. Even at the beach, they practiced drills. Young boys proudly wore sailor suits, dreaming of uniforms and medals. The barracks tower became socially acceptable. If you wanted to make an impression, you cultivated military airs. Students fought with scars as badges of honor. That was the essence of Wilhelmine society. Authoritarian, hierarchical, obedient to authority. But there was also a strong pioneering spirit and a deep research drive. Otto Lilienthal conquered the skies in 1890 and paid with his life. Count Zeppelin had his airships float over German cities. People marveled, dreamed, and clung to their hopes. "14-hour days, 6 days a week," that was the German workers' routine. Children toiled in the factories, women worked to exhaustion. The wages were barely enough to survive. The worker had almost no rights. There was neither job security nor unemployment insurance. All wheels stand still when your strong arm wills it. The call of the worker poet Herwegh echoed through the industrial cities. Strikes broke out. Protests filled the streets. The military marched against its own citizens. Social democracy grew into a mass movement. The SPD became the strongest party. But the voting rights were unfair. The rich had 3 times as many votes as the poor. Bismarck acted with an iron fist. He outlawed the party with socialist laws, but launched the world's most advanced social insurance. Carrot and stick, that was his method. The middle class admired and respected him like a strict but fair grandfather. Bismarck monuments were erected throughout the empire. (1888), the year of the 3 emperors. Wilhelm I passed away. His son Friedrich III ruled for only 99 days. Then Wilhelm II stepped onto the world stage. 29 years old, full of ambition and self-overestimation. He skillfully concealed his left hand, but the emotional scars remained. "I lead you towards glorious times," announced the young emperor. He shaped an entire era, the Wilhelmine period. But where does this path lead? Wilhelm II is a contradictory personality, peace-loving and warmongering, charming and tactless, modern and backward. He collects automobiles while fully indulging in his uniforms. The conflict with Bismarck is unavoidable. The old Chancellor is dismissed. The pilot goes overboard, mocks the press. The ship Germany sets course for uncharted waters. Germany's future lies on the water. Wilhelm II dreams of a fleet that can rival England. In massive construction programs, battleships and cruisers were built. The German Navy became the second largest in the world. But Germany arrived too late. The best colonies were already taken. What remained were the leftovers. Togo, Cameroon, German Southwest Africa, today Namibia. We don't want to overshadow anyone, but we also demand our place in the sun, says Bernhard von Bülow. In Morocco, the Panther Leap provokes an international crisis. German gunboats cruise off foreign shores. The objective was to undermine France's influence in Morocco and assert Germany's demand for colonial compensation. The world starts to fear the new Germany. Blood is spilled across the colonies. The uprising of the Herero results in genocide. Wilhelminian society lived by strict rules. For women, it was children, kitchen, church. Emancipation, a foreign concept. Men made the decisions, women obeyed. Yet under the surface, things were simmering. Heinrich Zille painted real life, poverty, misery, but also resilience. Gerhard Hauptmann wrote socially critical dramas. The Kaiser was outraged. Art was supposed to uplift, not depress. At the fairs, people forgot their worries. Here, equality prevailed, at least for a few hours. The first films flickered across the screen. A new era dawned. Germany became the land of inventors and engineers. Cars took over the streets. At first, they were like horseless carriages. Gasoline came from the pharmacy. Electric light illuminated the cities. Telephones connected the people. Aviation made giant strides. Zeppelins floated majestically over the land. Aviation pioneers dared to attempt the first powered flights. Germany stood at the forefront of technological progress alongside America. But the brave new world came at a cost. Machines replaced people. The work became tougher. Life got faster. Not everyone could keep up in this race of modernity. In 1913, Wilhelm II celebrated his 25th anniversary on the throne. The empire seemed at the peak of its power. The Olympic Games were set to take place in Berlin in 1916, a celebration of peace and international understanding. But the signs pointed to a storm. In Munich, a failed painter named Adolf Hitler lived, unknown but filled with hate and delusions. The future cast its shadows ahead. The last wedding of the monarchy. Princess Victoria Louisa married a wealth prince. All the crowned heads of Europe were present. Tsar Nicholas, King George, Emperor Franz Joseph. A family gathering that turned into a farewell. Sarajevo, June 28, 1914. 2 shots that changed the world. The Austrian heir to the throne died. And with him, an era died. The alliances interlocked tightly like gears. Europe plunged into the abyss. I no longer recognize any parties, I only know Germans, Wilhelm II proclaimed. The people cheered, the soldiers marched into war singing. We'll all be back home by Christmas, they believed. A tragic mistake. 4 years later, the empire was history. Wilhelm II. fled into Dutch exile. The monarchy completely fell apart. What was left of the Wilhelmine Era? Doorn Castle in Holland, the final destination for the Kaiser. Secretly filmed footage shows the Kaiser waiting. He waited for entry into the Dutch exile. Here he lived quietly and undisturbed for 23 long years. The traveling emperor, as Wilhelm II was called by friends and foes alike, came to rest. The man who was always on the move became a captive of routine, a routine that above all provided him with stability. The day unfolded in this way. Wilhelm II rose early in the morning and conducted the morning devotion himself, a ritual that Hermine took over after her arrival in 1922. Following that, there was a quick breakfast before the former emperor set off on his customary morning stroll. Chopping wood became his occupation, but not out of despair, rather out of a passion for physical activity. He went to the woodyard and dedicated his time to gardening in the park, seeking exercise in the open air. After the daily afternoon nap came a short walk. At 5 p.m., they had tea together in Hermione's salon or in the Imperial library. This lasted until the evening meal at 8 p.m. In the evening, the small court gathering with guests and the small court retinue retreated to the smoking salon. Cigarettes, coffee, and refreshments were served. Hermine busied herself with handiwork while the emperor read aloud to those present. A peaceful city scene, a domestic idyll, unexpected from the impulsive young emperor. Between 10 and 11 p.m., Wilhelm and Hermine said goodbye to those present in the smoking room. A ritual that would continue to be observed for 19 years. In 1929, Hermine established the Hermine Aid Organization, which was committed to helping the needy, particularly during the era of widespread unemployment. The exiled couple showed social commitment. One of the major highlights of court life in 1938 was the wedding of the imperial grandson Louis Ferdinand to Grand Duchess Kira of Russia. Hermine greatly appreciated the young bride and got along exceptionally well with her. In 1940, Hermine's youngest daughter Henriette married Franz Joseph, the imperial grandson and son of Prince Joachim of Prussia. The civil wedding ceremony took place on October 1st, 1940, at Haus Doorn. Wilhelm II, he delivered a heartfelt speech, officially welcoming Henriette into his family's household. In the early evening hours of June 3rd, 1941, a pulmonary embolism with its distressing symptoms signaled the end. Wilhelm II called for Hermine, said goodbye to her, and thanked his daughter Victoria Louisa, who arrived shortly after, for her time by his side. He felt his consciousness fading. Hermine and Victoria Louisa stayed by the dying man's bedside throughout the night. On June 4th, 1941, at 11:30 a.m., Wilhelm II passed away gently and peacefully. After his death, Hermine had to leave the home, having lived by his side for 19 years. She returned to her estate in Silesia in the month of August 1941. "43 years of the empire, an era between splendor and glory, between progress and reaction. Germany rose to become a great power, revolutionized science and technology, but also paved the way to catastrophe. History doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes, then as it does now. Rising inequality, widening political divide, increasing global tensions. Then and now, a squeezed middle class, workers barely making ends meet despite full-time jobs. Are we truly better off today, or are we simply working for different masters, not for the factory owner anymore, but for landlords, insurers, and the state? The truth is uncomfortable. While productivity has grown 20 times since 1871, our standard of living has only increased by a factor of 3 overall. Please share your thoughts on this in the comments below. The German Empire, a warning and a hope at the same time. Glory and splendor fade, but the fight for justice is eternal.